So in the last couple of videos, we have seen Sattvic and the Rasic qualities in the good detail. And in this video, we'll take a look into the Tamasic quality in more deeper sense. Yeah. So the Krishna says the Tamasic quality borns out of ignorance and it binds a person with the sleepiness, dullness and the madness. Yeah. And then he goes on and he says the Tamasic doer, the Tamasic personality. So this is the kind of a person who really doesn't want to do anything because it's the state itself is more like inertia. So he doesn't really want to do anything. He's very procrastinating, very dull, very sleepy, and he's also very annoyed. You will see this person always kind of annoyed because he has to do something that he doesn't really want to do. Right? Actually, he doesn't really want to do anything. So that kind of a psychology, annoyance, and then he's very clever and crafty about how not to do the work, and also he's very good in disrespecting other people in different ways, right? Giving backhand compliments, that sort of thing. So that is the nature, that is the personality of a Tamasic person, and that is the Tamasic doer. Then there's a Tamasic determination. So the Tamasic person doesn't really have a determination, right? How can you have a determination in the state of inertia? And he says the Tamasic person is actually stuck in this state of either depression or in the state of this sleepiness, lethargy, or the state of fear, or something, some state of some defilement, and state has become so prominent in his life that he is not able to have a determination, right? So he doesn't really have any determination. For example, if somebody is in the state of depression, then that person is stuck there, right? He doesn't really have any determination to get out of it, right? So the best option for him to have a therapy or something like that, so somebody can take him out, but his own determination will not be functioning at that level, right? So that is the Sattvic determination. And then Sattvic intelligence. So in terms of Sattvic intelligence, we saw in the Rasic intelligence, Krishna said the Rasic person doesn't clearly understand what is the dharma, what is the dharma, what are the law of the nature, what is the against the law of the nature. But in the terms of the Tamasic person, in the terms of the Tamasic state, when we are in the Tamasic state, the intelligence functions, not just not understanding, but it functions in the opposite direction, right? So whatever is the dharma we understood as a dharma, what is the adharma we understood as dharma, right? So our intelligence is moving in completely opposite direction than the natural way of things, right? For example, let's say there is a basic natural law that everyone in this universe has to, or everyone in the human society also has to contribute one way or another, right? We'll have to bring values in other people's life for his own survival, right? That is just how things are made, very interdependent. That's how the system is designed. So everybody has to contribute something or other, right? The Rasic person will also contribute. Maybe he doesn't want to contribute selflessly. Maybe he want to contribute more selfishly for his own gain, but he will contribute, right? The Tamasic person wouldn't think like that. Tamasic person will say this is wrong, right? This is unfair that I have to work. This is unfair that somebody's, I need to do something to bring value in other people's life, right? That kind of intelligence, right? He completely misunderstood the dharma itself, right? He completely misunderstood the laws of nature. The same way there are laws of nature in terms of the psychology. So his understanding is, or in that state, everybody's understanding is opposite. We are seeing, we have understood things in the, of course, in the opposite manner. Like what's supposed to be done, we think we should not be doing it, and what should not be done, we think we should be doing that. Things like these. So that is the Tamasic intelligence. Then Tamasic understanding. So in terms of the Tamasic understanding, in the Tamasic state, the person sees something which is not very significant. He sees that particular thing as most significant thing in his life, and he is completely indulged in that particular thing without really understanding the complete picture, right? So that is the Tamasic understanding. Maybe you can say some addiction, right? Let's say somebody is addicted to alcohol. So for him, that addiction is completely, has completely overpowered him, right? For him, that particular aspect is, which is insignificant, right? What you're getting is basically you're getting some sensation in the body by drinking, and it is destroying your life. But for that person, drinking has become extraordinarily important, right? Which is not significant in any manner, right? And he is not seeing other aspect of the life. He's not seeing the life in the wholesome manner. He's just very focused on one insignificant aspect of a life, and that is the kind of understanding the tamasic state brings, right? Then the tamasic action. So the tamasic action is uh, the kind of a action where the action has done for with the specific intent of harming other people on oneself, right? That kind of action, which has the intent behind to harm other people, right? It can be something like a person who enjoys breaking other people's relationship. For example, two people are in the good relationship, they are good friends or good family members, and this person goes behind the scene and starts saying something else. He has no particular motive of gaining anything, but he enjoys this destruction. Like he says something to one person, he said something to other person, even the all kind of lies, and now these two person who used to be friends, now they are not friends, right? Because of this person enjoy this kind of stuff, right? So this kind of action, to the more intense, where person is physically abusing other people, or the person is so angry that he actually killed somebody else. So things like these, that comes from the tamasic state, right? That kind of action is the tamasic action. Tamasic happiness, he says, the Krishna says, there is no happiness in the tamasic state. There is an illusion of happiness, right? So it's from the beginning to end, it is actually suffering, but the person imagine this is happiness, and it is it's born out of the sleepiness, dullness, lethargy, that kind of stuff. If, for example, somebody who's sleeping for 20 hours a day is and that person is you can say he is having joy of the sleeping and all, but there is no joy of such kind. This is basically a state of ignorance, right? This person is trying to uh, living in that state of dullness and ignorance where there is no happiness, but he imagines there is a happiness. Sattvic food, right? So in terms of the sattvic food, the sattvic person, or in the state of sattvic tamasic food, so in the tamasic person or in the state of a tamasic state, a person like tasteless, rotten, stale, lifeless, that kind of food, right? Which is not eatable, but the person like that sort of food in the tamasic state, which example can be the leftover, right? Something that somebody cooked like few days back, 1 day or 2 days, we just store it in the fridge and then we eat it back, which is kind of a rotten, right? Which is kind of a stale. That sort of food, or some, or I should say most of these packaged food, right, which has packaged for like 90 days back, 100 days back, has no life in it. The food doesn't have any kind of life in it, and it is heavily preservatives and all these kind of stuffs to put and make it a lot of spice, make it tasty or somehow something like that. And that sort of food is also tamasic food, which has no life in it, right? It's just lifeless, stale food. That is tamasic food. Tamasic dana. So the tamasic dana is the kind of a dana which is given to somebody who doesn't really need that dana, without any kind of a respect, without any kind of awareness, at the wrong time, at the wrong place. That sort of dana, right? For example, I see in my village, my roots are in the village, so I see in my village there are sometimes people do these things, that they give me some piece of cloth or something like that, right? And to be honest, I don't really need any piece of cloth, and without any kind of a respect, they just throw it on your face. That kind of dana without to a person. So that dana is given to a person who doesn't really need that dana altogether, right? I'm fairly minimalistic, I need only few things, and I would like to buy them based on my preference of the quality for that. But here is a person who's giving a person dana without any kind of a respect, without any kind of awareness, to the wrong person at the wrong time, and giving somebody something that the person doesn't really need altogether, right? So that kind of a dana, you can say, is tamasic dana. Then tamasic austerity. The Krishna is a little bit strong here, and he says this kind of a story, this kind of austerity is stupidity, basically, where the person is doing austerity for harming other people or himself, right? Nothing positive comes out of that kind of austerity, but it's just done for harming himself or harming other people, right? For example, let's say somebody has decided to do a fast for 30 days without eating or drinking, right? He doesn't understand why he's doing it, out of pride or ego or something like that. He has decided that he want to do a long fast of 30 days, right? Now that will harm him, right? That will harm his body. uh, that will be destructive for himself. And if some other people are in the relationship with this person or dependent on this person, that is going to be hell for that other people also, right? He might get into sick, or he might get into a difficult state, and these other people have to take care of him, right? And it could also be something that somebody does a very hard, intense austerity, or difficult thing to harm other person also, right? That kind of austerity is tamasic austerity, right? So of course the underlying message here is that we don't want to live in the tamasic state for a long period of time. Of course this comes every now and then. In fact, in some part of the day, the tamasic state could be more prominent, right? Especially maybe at the late night or something like that, where these properties of dullness, lethargy, and all these things are more strong, right? So we don't want to stay longer in the tamasic state, right? We don't want to act out of the tamasic state. We want to master this particular state. Otherwise it's very destructive in its nature.